What's up, guys? I did want to talk about something. So this prep has been a freaking whirlwind. It really has. I have had to grind really hard. My body has been fighting me every step of the way. I thought about dropping out this whole week, and my thoughts on competing have kind of shifted in the sense that I don't think that it might not be right for me in long term, because there are so many other things that I want to do, and I feel like my purpose in life is not to compete. I feel like God has something in store for me that's big, and while competing is a fun goal to attain short term, I don't think it's something that I want to put all this time and energy into long term, because if I think about it, I could, there are so many things I want to do, and I know there's a few things that I know I'm meant on this earth for, okay? First and foremost is to help people. That is number one. In any way, shape, or form, it's to help people. And I always think about my actions and what I'm doing. Is it benefiting people? Is it hurting people? Or is it only benefiting myself? And I feel like competing really only does benefit yourself. And I understand that you can help people while doing something that you love. So I'm not knocking competing, and I still think it's great. And this is some people's dreams, to become IFBB pro or be on the Olympia stage. And I thought it might be mine too. But lately, I just feel like there has just been something in my heart telling me that maybe this is not the path that I thought was right for me. And again, I'm not saying competing is bad if it's something you're trying to do, or whatever, or even I'm doing this show for sure because I've put in all this hard work, and I really want to get on stage one more time, because who knows, maybe I will change my mind, and maybe I do enjoy it. And I think that I have to see how I feel after I compete before I really say I'm never competing again. But my heart has kind of been leaning towards that. I'm not gonna continue competing after this. But again, I have to wait until I see, my mind can change completely. But, when you're in prep, a lot of time and energy goes into prep. It's all about you. It's about when you can hit your meals, when you can hit or get your workout in. It's you can't really be flexible, and it's not really something where you can just spur of the moment, pick up and go traveling or something. And I feel like there's more to my life that I can be doing if I'm not in prep, I don't know if that even makes sense, but that's just kind of what I've been thinking. And there's another thing that I know for a fact that God has put me on this earth to do, and that is to have children. And I know deep down in my heart, ever since I was a little girl, I knew I was supposed to have a family and have babies. And to be honest, competing just kind of messes with your hormones, and it certainly messes with mine. I lost my period already on this prep probably 5 weeks ago, and I've always had issues with my period, and I've always been irregular. And I know this is kind of TMI if any guys are watching, but this is just the truth. And my body just doesn't like to be super lean, and it doesn't like to have a super low amount of calories and a lot of exercise. When something's not right in your body, the first thing to shut down is your reproductive system, because your body only wants to stay alive, and its only concern is homeostasis. It doesn't give a shit if you have six-pack abs. It doesn't care if you're super lean and ready to go on stage. My body doesn't like it. It never does. I always lose my period when I'm super lean. It doesn't, always. And I know I want to have kids someday, and I feel like if I just continue competing, it's just going to mess with me more. And I also, another thing, I know in my heart that I have always wanted to be a role model to girls. And I feel like my whole, everything that I try to preach is about self-love, and it's about, not worrying about the number on the scale, not worrying about how lean you are. You're beautiful regardless of your body, of how, I just kind of feel like competing can seem contradictory in that sense. When, let's say people who don't know who I am and don't know my personality and don't know my background, they could see that 1 second I'm oh, you don't don't care about your appearance and how lean you are, but then they look at me and they're like, oh, well, she's getting super lean and she's upset that she's up 2 pounds after high carb day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I kind of just feel like a walking contradiction. And I don't want to be like that. I want to be a role model to girls and show them that you can be healthy without being shredded. And that's not the only way to be healthy. And I got into this fitness industry because of health. And right now in prep, to be completely honest, I am not healthy. I'm not getting my period. I'm eating a very low amount of calories. I'm doing quite a bit of cardio and my body is fighting me every step of the way and I'm not listening to it and I'm doing it anyway. And that's just being completely honest. I'm not healthy right now. And I just wanted to share this with you guys. Again, I'm not knocking anyone that's competing. I'm not bashing it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think, you know, I loved competing. I loved the whole process. And this isn't only because I have to grind super hard. You know, I'm not going to tell anyone like, oh my God, I have to grind really freaking hard. Like, no one cares. Like, I'm choosing to prep for myself and that's great. And, you know, a lot of times to reach a specific goal, you are going to have to sacrifice things. And that's just the reality of it. But the question that you have to ask yourself is all of this sacrifice worth it to you? For some people, the answer is yes. For some people, all they care about is getting their pro card and, you know, getting on the Olympia stage. And that's wonderful. That is amazing. And I think if that is your goal, then freaking do it. Go for it and, you know, do what you got to do to get there. But for me, when I'm, you know, I think, is it worth it to me? I think of, what is that gonna get me in the long run? The answer is no. I really want to start a business and I feel like putting my time and energy into something like that, like starting my own business, in the future, it's gonna benefit me. If I get my pro card in 10 years, what is that gonna do for me? I'm just gonna be really broke because I spent a lot of money on competing. And that's just me, again. And competing is expensive. I just wrote down what I had to pay for these 2 shows and I'm like, that's like $600. Like, I don't have that. Like, I have to pay $4,000 in taxes. And I'm like, what am I doing? But again, those are just my thoughts right now. And again, I'm not saying I'm never gonna compete again. I still have to see after this show, like how I feel. And I'm still gonna do the shows just because I've come this far. I'm only 4 weeks out. Like, you know, I'm just gonna do it. Why not? I think it'll still be fun. It'll still be a good experience. And again, yeah, I've come this far, but do I think it might be something that I might give up afterwards? Yeah, maybe. I just feel like God right now is calling me to other things. I never felt that God was calling me to the stage or to compete in bikini competitions, but I think that every experience that we go through is to, number one, teach us a lesson. I know that sounds super corny, but I think that everything that we go through is really because we need to learn something. And, you know, maybe this is just this whole hard prep that I'm going through. Maybe this is to teach me that maybe this is not what's important in life. And maybe there is more to life than dieting and, you know, everything like that. So that was really long. I hope you guys understand what I mean by what I'm saying. And again, I'm not meaning to bash anyone or, I don't know, just disclaimer. These are just my thoughts right now and what I have been thinking of. And yeah, so I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, anything below. Love you guys. Thanks.